Hello. How's everybody? Hi, CDT. Hi, Mark. Pink Dahlia, Kelly Brown. Thanks for becoming a member. If you guys want to support the channel and keep it going, please consider becoming a member as well. And if not, if you would just like and subscribe, that also supports the channel. So pretty much, um, I'm just reading chat and already I've got questions about Brian. Yeah, we're going to be talking a lot about Brian today. Um, and just the loose ends because honestly, I just feel like we need to keep this going, like the conversation going and pressure on law enforcement and just pretty much the public wants to know things. I mean, I just checked the news right before coming live, like the most current article on Google with Brian Laundrie in it. And it's pretty much just talking about how the parents have the house listed for sale. But I mean, every day people are looking for some sort of answer or something to do with the case, even if it's just talking about the parents' house selling or the parents selling their house. Hey, Cindy Surfer. I'm just reading your comment. Hey, girlfriend, little girlfriend, baby girl, missed the last few lives. So happy to be here. I just saw one of your comments too. I don't know how I missed it, but I liked it. So it was from a few weeks ago. My video about Dog the Bounty Hunter, which you know what? I might as well just pull up right now. Thanks for reminding me, Cindy. Thank you for becoming a member, Delaney. Really appreciate your support. You're always there supporting CDT and I and Alex Erickson, and we just really appreciate you always. So I think it's clear to everybody that law enforcement hasn't given us much updates besides the suicide by gunshot to the head or the mouth. I can't remember which they came up with, but we'll just be talking about that. And we need to make sure that the public gets all their questions asked when law enforcement does decide to come forward. And I think honestly, it would be in their best interests to kind of come out as soon as they can. I know that they claim to be wrapping things up and, they're going to finish everything they have to do to kind of close it towards Brian Laundrie was the sole um, person who was responsible for Gabbypetito's death. So they're just going to have to come out and show us everything that they have. The public's not going to be satisfied with something that's not shown completely. So I figure I might as well just show that video that I had done 3 weeks ago to kind of refresh everyone's memory of, the scene where Blaine was found. And then we're going to go into some Twitter stuff and then some clips. And then I've got just something that I had pulled out from Brian's room that I thought was eerily just, I don't know, tragically poetic, I guess. And it's just very eerie. Give me 1 second while I wait for this ad to skip.
in that area, Dr. Oz, with dogs, volunteers. We had 3 different dogs. I mean, we searched that out of 13 islands, we searched 13. And we were cordoned off from the area where they found him. They wouldn't let anybody in. And ironically, the day before they opened it up, the day before, they found what seems to be Brian's body.
Now, the reason why I want to kind of just show that again and kind of talk about it is because I'm just starting to think more and more like, as much as people have been theorizing and coming up with conspiracy theories and talking about a family member who's a dentist, no one's ever proved that for one. But, if we're just going to talk about crazy occurrences taking place, then I think it's only fair to kind of talk about the possibility that law enforcement, which in that clip, it sort of kind of goes along with this possible theory that they had known he was dead, but, didn't want to come out with it. They're getting whatever benefit by hiding it. But is it possible, because they were able to keep Dog out of that area, oddly enough. And Dog the Bounty Hunter, he's just on Dr. Oz in that clip. He's just talking about his experience. He's just saying whatever. He probably has no idea that a small clip was taken of his whole show that he did with Dr. Oz, and I'm dissecting it. But to me, that was interesting. He wasn't allowed to go in the area. Come to find out, that was the area that Brian was found. So it's like, if they roped it off or they kept him out, why were they so close to his body, and keeping Dog out and all that, but they didn't find him? It's not making sense to me, and it's not making sense to a lot of people. Hi, Open Minds. Thanks for being here. Okay, so next, let me just give you a visual, and then I'll just read. Oh, wait, no, let me pull up Twitter first. And thanks, everyone, for being here. Really appreciate you all. We all have the same questions pretty much and are seeking the same answers. So this is one of the protesters. He has his own Twitter page, and he's claiming to be an investigative reporter. He has been out in Moab doing research for the double homicide that took place out there. That there's still no suspect, but he also paid respects to Gabby's the place that she was found. Not her resting place. I don't think they put her ashes there, but I just thought this was interesting to look at. It's a more recent picture of her grave as it takes place today. So then, while this is up on the screen, let me just start reading this article, which I'm sure everyone's heard about. The FBI did, in fact, know that a gun was missing, and they did, in fact, choose not to tell the public. So this article that I'll be reading is just kind of talking about that, and then this is going to kind of go into what we'll be talking about. It's just going to flow, guys. Just trust me. Let me look at chat while I switch screens. Yeah, isn't that just I don't know, it's interesting to see the snow, and it's sad to think that she didn't get to spend her Thanksgiving with her family. And I mean, and the Laundries obviously had a different type of Thanksgiving too. Oh, yes. That's why. Okay, so on his Twitter, that's why I pulled this up. Why can't I scroll down? Oh, I gotta go back. See, I'm not really Twitter savvy. I'm trying to get better at it. Okay, so the other protester, which you've probably seen her in pictures, we talked about her in my last live stream last Tuesday. Her name is Andra, and she was at the Laundrie house the whole time with Jonathan Lee Riches, and they also went to Moab together. Anyways, this video she had taken, and pretty much says that they had known about a gun missing and that people were calling her a liar at the time. And when I say she'd been there from the beginning, like she was getting all, the gossip and everything from like the whoever's around the scene. And I do remember, I don't know if you guys know the name. I couldn't find it and I was just busy. Pretty much another YouTube channel. I think it was a van life one. The ones that got the Brian's dad to talk to them, who said, "Are you guys out of your mind?" or something like that. They said in that video that they had heard from somebody while they were there, someone who had been there from the beginning, and they didn't name names or put this woman on camera, but I think it's this Andrew woman. But he said that it was going to come out that it was suicide by gunshot. And this video was posted long before it came out that way. So, hi, Carolina. So I think it is interesting. And I think that I do believe it was being gossiped about that a gun was missing and that it was going to come out as a suicide because of those YouTube videos and this clip I'll show you. And I believe her, and they've been doing pretty good work. Like they're getting more information than we were getting. Remember from Laundrie's sister, that interview where she came outside with the husband? This is that woman's voice and his voice, who we hear in that. So,
They found out.
Okay, hold on. Let me start this over. Can you guys hear it?
Was trying to, they found out that Brian did get a hold of the gun, which we had reported here a while ago. And now we are out here still demanding justice for Gabby, which we know at this point she's never going to get because he's killed himself, which has absolved his parents from any wrongdoing because they cannot force husband and wife to tell on themselves, so to speak. So we are still out here, still seeking justice for Gabby. And what a total shame this case has turned out to be. They could have saved their son. They chose not to save him. They chose to let him walk out the door. And there was many, many, many things that they could have done to save their son. And a few of those things would have been taking the keys, calling the law enforcement, or Baker acting them. They chose to do none of that. So this poor girl here will never, ever, ever get justice. Out there, they were very, very upset with us. People were upset with us, calling us liars, that there was no gun because the police did not report it. But we were boots on the grounds, and we found out there on the scene when they found his remains that there was a gun in close proximity to his body.
So I 100% believe them. They've been there from day one, and they brought us nothing but factual statements. They brought to light a lot of stuff that was found after they opened the reserve again. So I do think that they'd known and talked about like a gun for a while. Now we'll get into, where is the gun and what are we to think about all that. So I'll share my screen again while I read this. Oh, right. Anyways, while I do this, I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Those who are in the U.S. Pulling it up right now. Okay. Wait. Sorry, I'm just pulling something up, guys. I forgot what I named it. Okay, yeah. Here we go. And everyone knows that this is Brian's room. These photos became public because they were photos taken for the realtor before everything happened. So I'll just leave this up while I read. FBI is slammed for hiding the fact that Brian, who shot himself in the head, could have been considered armed and dangerous during hunt for him because they knew a gun was missing from his parents' house. Can you guys hear me? The FBI is facing backlash after hiding the fact that Brian Laundrie, the fiance of murdered hiker Gabbypetito, had a gun and should have been considered armed and dangerous as the nation searched for him. Laundrie, 23, was reported to have died from a single self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head, his lawyer, Steve Bertolino, said on Tuesday. Okay, so single shot to the head, this article is claiming. The Daily Mail. Bertolino told Daily Mail one of his family's guns was missing when Laundrie vanished, but they kept it secret because they didn't want the public to panic. It remains unclear where the gun is now. We didn't want the public to go into a frenzy on that. I don't think they considered him dangerous to anybody he met on the street, Bertolino said. A gun was hanging in his bedroom in photos taken by a real estate website before he vanished. For weeks, the FBI declined to answer questions regarding if Laundrie should have been considered armed and dangerous. The public is now expressing fury toward the FBI for withholding information, with some questioning what is the FBI hiding and why do we even have an FBI? So obviously, you guys see the picture. It's the gun. Now we don't know if this is the gun that was missing, but it's been noted that he had a gun in his room and everyone's kind of pointed at it and seen it. The thing also is, could we have just gotten clarification on that? You know, because many people were pointing this gun out before they even announced that he was dead or before Gabby was even found, you know, like why couldn't they have just said something? Um, the FBI agent who does a lot of news interviews kind of talks about it when in her last interview that we'll get into, but she defends the FBI for not telling us pretty much. But again, she's retired FBI, so you have to consider her opinion may be a bit biased. Even though I do respect her opinion, it seems like she's very, forthcoming and has no problem being transparent, which is how the FBI should be. And she's a retired agent. But it's not a good look because it's got many people wondering, what is the FBI hiding? They're just talking about Twitter posts. Wow, I saw the update on the news, and this blatantly obvious question didn't even occur to me. None of this makes sense. What is the FBI hiding? Another user questioned, why do we even have an FBI? During the entire search for Brian Laundrie, not once did the public know that he was armed. Other questioned why authorities did not disclose the vital information, knowing that the public was assisting in the search, with many claiming they had encounters with him. Law enforcement and FBI have a lot to answer for in the Gabbypetito and Brian Laundrie case, knowing that they had a firearm when he went missing, which was missing, and not notifying the public of an armed and dangerous person, knowing the public was looking for him. It's just very questionable. Another person joked, if the gun is not recovered, maybe the FBI should ask the dad to go get them. It's just crazy. It's more than crazy. It's almost comical in a way, but it's not supposed to be. It's like they mistake the mother for being Brian, and it's just one thing after another. They told the public that they knew where Brian was. Come to find out the next day it came out they didn't know where it was. So it's just really not good. It's really embarrassing. And then we have law enforcement agencies in Australia who found Cleo, that missing girl, within less than a month. So it's not a good look. Hi, Wolfie, and hi, Sebastian. I'm sorry you can't sleep, but I'm happy you're here. So as I continue, it's just showing, this article is just showing those tweets that I was talking about, and it's just really, even people who aren't following this case hear about it, you know? Uh, it's just going on about the autopsy. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I just wanted to point out how on Twitter, you know, the public is just, we want to know what's going on. We want answers, and I don't understand. It's getting to the point where like we kind of have to trust that they know what they're doing, but at the same time, we have to put some pressure like where it's needed. Um so let me just skip ahead. Now, we'd seen this picture and people wondered, is this, it's blurry, of course, so sorry. Was this a gun? I know it's blurry. It's almost like the Chris Watts picture by the with the truck and the like zooming in and stuff, but um just looking at the chat real quick. KF, yeah, I agree. I'm not American, but I'm surprised the FBI does not have to give regular updates to the taxpayers, even knowing they have to keep some things quiet. Exactly. And that's sort of what I was going to get into. They talk with that retired FBI agent, is she kind of excuses the fact that they didn't tell the public, as, you know, it's part of the investigation. You know, you can't give everything to the public when you're investigating, and that's understandable. But now we know that the victim here, we've known, is deceased. The primary suspect, you know, person of interest, is deceased. Now it's time, you know, Thanksgiving went by, Monday morning went by, it's now Tuesday. It's just kind of like, hi, it's the public knocking. Can we get some answers? Because, you know, we don't know. Even that gun that was found around where the family was camping before his body was found in a totally different spot, you know, it's like, can we just get clarification even on that? Like, that might not even be related to this case. And I don't think, obviously, I don't live in Florida and I'm not checking local stuff, but has anyone heard about that gun being cleared or tied to anyone? I mean, there are ways to track who belongs to a weapon like that. I mean, the serial numbers, etc. Oh, yes, Paul T. Probably as much of a gun state as Texas, if that helps. I know you're in the UK. And I have nothing against guns if they're used responsibly and bought responsibly. That's a way that we can track who these guns are belonging to. You know, these ones in the picture, the one in the picture of the bedroom, the one that was found near where they were camping, the one near in the van in the picture. I mean, there's like the ones that were missing from the parents' house, you know, like there's multiple guns that we are trying to get some clarification on. Hi, Joe. He said Texas here. I've always wanted to go to Texas. Might actually be moving there, actually. We'll see. Oh, no, you're fine, Amby. Hi, Foxy Lady. So, do you guys understand what I'm getting at? Like, more clarification and more checking in with the public is sort of going to have to be, is going to be needs to be amplified at this point because, we've been patient. So KF said with Cleo Smith, the one that was in Australia, we got daily updates for 18 days till she was found. Cops worked 24/7 and they were clear some things had to be kept quiet, no problem. And government put $1 million reward straight away. Oh, really? Wow. So does that mean the neighbor that tipped them off got that reward? I mean, not that I didn't know like that's why I'm not saying that's why the neighbor did it. He obviously seen suspicious stuff going on when he saw him at the store buying diapers and he heard, I think, kid noises or whatever. But yeah, that's just that honestly, what a blessing that story. For this entire year, especially those of us who are watching closely the Summer Wells case, when Cleo Smith was found and you go on the news and or your Facebook or whatever and you see the true crime stuff, when there was something positive, I was like, oh my God, thank goodness. Oh, okay. Yeah, old-fashioned detective work sometimes is all you need. So while everyone's kind of looking at this picture, the thing that I kind of wanted to talk about was the Darth Vader helmet that's on display front and center in his shelf right there. And I'm not sure if there's any Star Wars fans in the chat, but I'm a Star Wars fan and I've been to Star Wars, um, the exhibit at Disney World and all that, and I know the movies. And the story about Darth Vader is just it's tragic, honestly. It stems from him starting out as, a good person. And he ends up becoming a Jedi for those who don't know. I'm kind of going to read like a little synopsis, like plot summary, if you will. Perhaps. I might not even have to. But pretty much the story of Darth Vader, I was wondering if Brian was closely tied to, I mean, obviously, if you're going to buy a helmet, I'm sorry, but even if I'm a fan or not, I'm not going to buy a Darth Vader helmet. He's the villain. And it's just disturbing, his story in a way. He ends up turning to the dark side because he's tricked into thinking so the love of his life is pregnant and she's having nightmares that she dies during childbirth and they're reoccurring nightmares and they take it as foreshadowing or they take it as something that a premonition. And so Darth Vader, before he becomes Darth Vader, is scrambling to come up with like a solution because obviously he doesn't want to lose the love of his life. And he gets tied up with an evil guy who pretty much tricks him into thinking if, the Jedi aren't going to be there for you because he's on his way to becoming a Jedi. No, he is one at that point. But anyways, so if they're not going to help you or save Padme, the love of his life, turn to the dark side. And then once you're on the dark side, the love of your life will be saved. So he turns to the dark side because he wants to save the love of his life. It's sort of like a dark love story, which is sort of crazy in a way because I think that Brian Laundrie ran with some type of fantasies in his head where, people have linked the books he was reading to murderous plots and this and that. But I think that it's just eerie. One thing that I noticed about, um, once the death came out that it was strangulation, I just kept thinking about, why it did the story of Darth Vader pretty much influence
You
the
brought him
crime?
here to kill me!
So pretty much this is this scene. Um, he is just crazy at this point, like gone down to the dark side too deep that he can't get out of it. Yes, Paul T says, I agree. He was into Fight Club but like obsessed with that author. Like there were other things that he was quoting, and I guess like Fight Club definitely was a favorite, and that deals with voices in his head in that plot. I love the movie, but like to become obsessed with it, it's a bit much. Pink Dahlia said he seemed to think he was not part of the human race. He speaks as if he's outside it. Interesting. Yeah. And if she was going to break up with him, you know what I mean? Then it's just even more like he's in some crazy like dark fantasy, and she wasn't going to live without him, you know what I mean? And it's just like, hello, breakups happen. So in the movie, that's pretty much what happens is like he ends up killing young kids in efforts to save his wife because he was told the Jedis have to go. So some of the Jedis were young kids. And she confronts him in this scene, and she's basically like, I heard about this. Please tell me it's not true. And he's, pretty much doesn't deny it. And she's like, what the heck? And he's like, I can save you, you won't die. And she's just like, I can't go down this path with you. So in a way, she's breaking up with Darth Vader before he's Darth Vader. She's breaking up with him. So obviously it sets off Anakin even more at this point, and he ends up choking her with the Force, and she passes out and then later dies because of it, and was able to give birth. It's all in the movie. It's a really good movie, but I'm just going to play like a few clips that I noticed about Darth Vader, and he's very much known for that, strangulation, grab. And I know that we don't have to do much proving that it was Brian who killed Gabby, but if there's people who have doubt or anything like that, it's like he was obsessed with dark things. And like I said, I watched Star Wars. I seen Fight Club. I'm very much aware of all that, but to become obsessed with that and to become obsessed with the no plastic stuff that he had posted on Instagram, it was just very extreme and I don't know, just disturbing. So I'm just gonna play a few clips of Darth Vader because he had it in his bedroom, the helmet, and it's just like very eerie, and the things that he was obsessed with.
Let her go, Anakin! Let her go!
So it's like, was Brian
on this one,
obsessed
with the announcement that Brian's
that?
death was a suicide? What kind of physical evidence would they need to make that determination? We know they only found literally Brian Laundrie's bones and a partial skull. How do you think they came to?
I'm sure you guys have seen these clips on Ashley's show when Brian was on there hosting. The guy on the right is a medical examiner, and then the FBI agent is on the left, the retired one. So I've just clipped the little parts. No, honestly, the Pink Dahlia, a lot of people lean that way. She said, I know it's not a popular opinion, but honestly, it is. I would not be shocked if he popped up in South America. I mean, anything's possible, but I just don't know. I mean, I'm going off of the fact that they've announced his death, so but with everything else that's happened, I would not be surprised if law enforcement is hiding that. Would not be.
To this conclusion?
Well, I think examination of the skull, the cranium in particular, would have revealed a fracture.
So I added this picture. It's not Brian's by any means. It was just to kind of give you a visual of what this medical examiner is kind of saying, instead of just looking at him telling you what fractures look like when, you know, things, when people shoot a bullet through the head. I added this so that we could get kind of a visual idea. Hi, Original Elements.
Of the bone, and people that know a lot about gunshot understand that the type of fracture that you see in the cranium would clearly come from gunshot. We know that Brian owned a pistol. The father, Chris, owned about 10 different handguns, and one of them was actually missing when the police came around September 13th or so, September 17th, I believe, to collect evidence from the home. They did collect all of the guns. One was missing. Now, we don't know the make, the model, or the caliber, but I have a feeling the law enforcement knows very well. And it's not clear whether they found the gun at the scene where the bones were found. Metal detectors can find shell casings, bullets, and handguns. So it's just not clear whether the FBI has possession of the murder weapon or not. But you would need material like that to close the loop, to demonstrate that it was a suicide by gunshot, self-inflicted gunshot. I mean, guns don't just walk away. It had to be there, unless, of course, somebody else murdered him, which is very, very unlikely given all of the circumstantial evidence that we already have.
So obviously, I do believe that law enforcement knows which gun, make, and model and all that is missing from the Laundrie house, because obviously they went through their inventory and, things were registered and all that. I'm just wondering, when will the public know about that? And when will the public know, about the one at the scene? Because like he said, he wasn't murdered. That is just very small statistic. Hi, Derek. Hi, Rosie. And hi, everybody who's showing up. Appreciate you all being here. So it's just a matter of, is the public going to have to demand, answers in any way, shape, or form? Peacefully, obviously. But are they just waiting until they can give us more answers? And, it'd be great to get whatever discovery files we could get. Maybe things were being worked on that they're able to release. CCTV footage. I mean, there's got to be things that they have and they're holding close and near and dear, which I understand. But there's other cases where they've released CCTV footage while we wait for answers. There's other ongoing investigations that have, given us this and that. Now we know victim's dead, primary suspect, in my opinion, dead. It's time to start handing the public some stuff, and we need to do a press conference. And are they just afraid of all the questions we're going to ask?
I mean, where do you think the gun is now? Do the FBI have the gun? Is it still in the swamp? What's your gut telling you?
I believe it's in an evidence control room under the custody of the FBI, or possibly in an FBI laboratory getting tested to make sure it was an operable gun, that the firing pin was working, and that it had never been used in any other crimes. So I very much believe that it was recovered on that secondary search when they went back out, and they were out there for several days. I think that's when it was recovered. The only other possibilities are it's still there or a third party has it. And I think it's very probable the FBI has it.
So I think it's interesting that the former FBI agent said that she thinks that they have the gun. They just haven't explained it to the public. And it's like, what is going on? They need to come out and just explain things. But it is interesting. I'm sure they do have the gun. Who knows, though? Ugh. It really is just a mess. And transparency with law enforcement and public, that's the best way to keep things kind of not mixed up and unexplainable. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to grab a drink. So sorry about that. Okay, so I'm just going to go through chat. Yes, Kelly, I agree. She did deserve a lot better. Nicole said, I'm just joining. Does anyone believe that he is tied to the Moab murders too? And have they released Gabby's full autopsy? Oh, and wasn't there bullet holes at where Gabby's body was found? Well, thank you for being here. I hope you're still here. I know I walked away for a second. Anyways, I would be very surprised, but then again, with how much transparency they're not showing us. And isn't it interesting, the Moab Police Department? I mean, what is going on out there? They have that double homicide. I have yet to see a recent press conference. They handled the traffic stop with Gabby terribly, as everybody knows. The fact that the Moab Police Department is tied to the double homicide and almost the Gabby case because of the police stop, it's like very easy for them to kind of hide things. So, if they're not connected, then why aren't we getting more information about the double homicide, And now we're going to need to get more information from local police department in Florida, Northport, and FBI, in my opinion. Gabby's full autopsy has not been released, but they told us the cause of death. Sorry, it's a canned San Pellegrino mineral water, sparkling, not sponsored. Sorry, just popping it open. Apparently, in that state, Wyoming, they are not obligated to give the public the autopsy by law. So they just gave us the cause of death and the manner of death, and that's it. And the bullet holes where Gabby's body was found, they ruled her death from strangulation. So I don't know. I kind of thought in my mind then maybe those weren't bullet holes. You know what I mean? But if there's guns involved, we just need more answers. The best thing that we can just get is more answers. Hey, Sky, from law enforcement on the double homicide and this case, Brian Laundrie, Gabbypetito, because it's to the point where things are just getting out of control, like as far as what rumors are going around, this and that. So Paul said, I feel a bit sorry for the police, was a lack of training and didn't want to charge them. Oh, the traffic stop. It was under my impression that guy that did the main call or whatever was up there, like wasn't new. Hey, crazy crime chick. Hey, Amber in chat. I'm cooking and listening. Awesome. You need to do more videos of cooking and true crime too. Oh, no problem, Nicole. I know. I thought that too when I was in other chats before. But so let me just see if there was anything else I wanted to go to. I think I just wanted to touch on the fact that former FBI agent kind of excused them not telling the public about the gun. And I was just wondering if you guys felt like while they can keep their investigation closer to their chest and protected, can they also, could they have also told the public about him being possibly armed and dangerous? So if you think that there was a way for them to keep the close or to keep close their investigation details, but by also tell the public, press 1. If you think that they just can't tell the public everything, then press 2. And like, you don't think that they had to tell us that a gun was missing and he had it. Yeah. Holly Southern Style, thank you, because I put in the thumbnail and it was like one of my main points and I have not even touched on it. She said, clothes weren't around skeleton. I've been saying there's no such thing as a naked skeleton taking clothes off. And I think they had month to plan who else is dead that resembles a dental. I mean, I am with you about the clothing. I mean, that is just whether you believe the dental thing could have been faked or not. The clothing thing, where's his clothes? Is that another detail that they're just not telling us? You know what I mean? Yeah, crazy. I agree. So is the clothing something that they had and they bagged up, you know? Because remember they put up that tent when they found stuff there. Um, yeah, I agree. A lot is being covered up original. But yeah, it's just say animals got him or whatever. That doesn't excuse why a whole outfit, we're talking socks, shoes. I mean, well, he didn't like wearing shoes. So, you know, at least flip-flops. Yes, it was underwater. Maybe things got wished away. Um, I just don't know, guys. Like shorts, tank top. Like an alligator isn't even going to digest that if we try to say that it was alligator and you know, that's why that we don't have them, you know. I'm just not buying it. Sorry. And it wouldn't have to be so many conspiracies if they could just do a press conference. Um, it's time to start releasing more things. Like I want to look at the news and I want to see CCT footage of Brian using Gabby's credit card was seen here. Like it doesn't even have to be like everything. Like start giving us certain elements of where things are piecing together. Um the notebook that they've been talking about. Yes, Amby, thanks for bringing that up. You know, the parents finding it. Now we got to wonder if the parents took the notebook bag, you know? It's like what was planted there? You know, start giving us some sort of, you know, you thought the mother was Brian. Can you guys like come back from that? Like I know that wasn't FBI, that was local. Like I'm sorry, but I'm tired of them blaming each other, you know? But then at the same time, they have each other's backs because they're all collectively hiding something in a way. I feel as though, in which they said in that interview with Brian Enton that I was showing you, the parents might be held accountable for accessory after the fact or something, you know, they knew stuff. Yes, she has an Apple Watch. Where is it? Where is Gabby's Apple Watch? Exactly. It's just questions that the public are going to want. And just think about the other cases that we've gotten stuff on, like the Chris Watts case. Thank you so much, Derek. I really appreciate that. Keep doing what you're doing, Amber. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. And thanks everyone for being here again. There's just stuff that the public are going to want. And in other cases, they've given the public like discovery files, and we still want more. This case has reached so much magnitude of publicity and notoriety and, you know, just tragic story of domestic violence. And if we can pull anything, it's don't be afraid to be that person to call 911 if you saw some assault take place between, you know, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, etc. But instead of just pulling out what we can take from this, it's time for law enforcement to start showing us like what do you guys have like about everything? Like we only have our means of like dealing with these stories and like we come together and do live streams or we go on Facebook or we talk about it with people, you know. But now it's to the point where it's like we've gone round and round and we've speculated about him being alive still. Now it's to the point where it's like, okay, now we need more from law enforcement. So hopefully we start getting some answers. And that's pretty much all I had. I don't know, Amby. Was that going around? She said, were the parents filing bankruptcy? I'm not sure. I hadn't Heard that. Pink Dahlia said, one thing I will say is the way Brian was being, I could see if he did kill himself, that he'd go out naked. That way he came into the world. Oh, the way he came into the world, I could see him wanting to be detached from humankind. Yeah, he is a weird one. So maybe there really was no clothes. Well, then there's got to be some trail camera or something. Oh, thank you, Open Minds. Yes, let me know, Original, when you get all that going. Oh, is it Sky? She said, why is their house for sale by owner instead of listed on the market? Yeah, you know what? Let me pull that up. I just seen that. I don't know what that was. All right, what? That's what it was. New York Post. There was pictures I'd never seen either. I thought they were getting divorced. I don't mean to sound like I'm like gossipy, but like I thought that they were getting divorced or something. And I only asked that because they're like sort of, I don't know if they're holding hands, but yep, you're right. Yep. For sale by owner. Wow. I think that was for, oh yeah, because it said that those pictures were from the realtor. Yeah, I'd never seen this picture. That's $1 million question, is why the police won't release information. Original, she said they have trail cams and the police refuse to release it. Why? Right. I'm just reading chat real quick. Right. Who would want to live there? The pictures didn't really impress me, but honestly, I'd rather live in Florida than New York. It's getting cold. Cindy said, I wonder if the parents and Cassie reconnected. I wonder too. Really? Freaking ad? Sorry, guys. Wow, pop-up one. Okay. Yeah, I wonder if they've reconnected too. And why did they shut her down in the first place? Exactly. These are the details that we would have gotten sort of more clarification on if it went to trial or something, you know, because it would have made sense. Something would have came out where Cassie was probably trying to save herself or something, but it would have been explained throughout a trial, I feel. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe Cassie did know because more about something that the parents knew or something, you know? And because remember, they asked her, do you think Jonathan Lee Riches asked her, do you think your parents are involved? And she was like, I don't know. So, you know, to not come out and say immediately, and these are all the little details that people are going to forget because now we know he was found dead and everyone's focused on, is he alive or dead? Can we trust the dental records? Is his family a dentist? You know, but like you said, Cindy, you know, why in the first place were they like told not to talk to their daughter? And then why did she say she didn't know if they were involved? What? And those little details can't be forgotten, because it's like, we need to know more. And the fact that the Petitio lawyer came out last week or whatever saying that they can't comment because of the district attorney office or whatever, that's interesting. That means, there is some entity that might want to hold the parents accountable for something. But can we make sure there's no victim shaming in the chat mods? Just want to make sure. But that's pretty much everything we have until they give us more. They're claiming that they know that it was a gunshot because the fracture on the skull, single shot. And now they're saying that the gun, that retired FBI agent was saying that a gun might be found already and is in evidence, and we just haven't been told. So instead of going round and round, it's to the point where, they can't the law enforcement can't hide from these questions. So hopefully soon we get some answers and we can, kind of get some more closure on like certain things in the case, and then dig deeper into other things like Cindy pointed out about the daughter being, or them telling the lawyer, telling the parents not to talk to the daughter, like that's a big, like, wait, why? Just looking through chat, was there anything else you guys wanted to ask or we could discuss, or is that pretty much it? Derek, we literally seen about 20% of what out there in this case. Yeah, exactly. You're so right, because that there's so much footage of their van. If those accounts are true, like just think about the girl who said Brian hitchhiked and offered her $200. Remember all that? Like, there's things that were handed over to law enforcement that we just have not seen, and we might get to see. So, okay, people talking about Brian's uncle, this and that. Stan was Gabby's grandfather. Until people pull up a LinkedIn site and a family tree and link a dentist to Brian. They've just talked about it. They've talked about it being his uncle. They've talked about it being his cousin. They said he's in Mexico. Like, come on. Let's get something more concrete. But yeah, Derek, we have so much we could get answers very easily if they just released more. All right. Yeah, Cynthia Berg, I agree. She said, I haven't seen the proof of the dentist yet, not to say it isn't true. I feel the same way. Like, I'm not saying like absolutely not, like people don't have dentists in their families, but I've asked other people too, and I'm like, have you seen the connection? Like, have people laid this out? Because that's just how the true crime community works, honestly. Like, we'll message each other, and like one channel will have one thing and the one person will screenshot it and share it, and it all comes together. Nobody has shared with me where this is coming from besides people just saying it. Like, there's proof of things, like show the dentist office he works at, etc. Derek said, I only believe the sister in this case. She seems somewhat legit, where the rest of the family is sketch. I couldn't agree more. She was just very upfront. There were some things that I was kind of like when she said she didn't know if he was angry or something like that. I was like, how would a sister not know? Cindy said, why are they still going there all the time though? And interesting, they found his stuff and remains were found all the day it first reopened. It makes no sense, Cindy. It literally makes no sense. Yeah, Sky, I agree. She said she lied too, though. She did. There were certain things I was like, But interesting, she threw the parents under the bus. Well, she said she didn't know if they were involved. But by saying you didn't know and not coming out saying no, to me is like, what? What if he asked his parents to shoot him? He seems too smug to do it himself. Yeah, well, what parent would do that? Although, who are these people, right? Okay. All right, original elements. You need to lay that out on your channel. She's saying there's 2 stands. Okay, Brian's uncle and Gabby's father. And then is that the dentist or something? Either way, I need to see it. Holly, Southern style. I'd love to see it all. I knew about the police officer living in the connection. CDT said, I've heard about Brian having an uncle stand, but never looked into it and haven't seen proof, but I'm interested. Right. Okay, Original Elements said she's going to lay it all out on her channel and show the dentist connection. Yes. First video idea. All right, so I pretty much think that's it, guys. Thank you for being here. I will post any updates I can. I'm working on multiple things, like as far as videos. Kurt Cobain death investigation again. And what else? A Chris Watts one, of course. And then, we're always looking for updates for Summer Wells and obviously here, Gabby. So, yeah, Rosie, they said partial skull and jawbone. So I don't know. Like I've seen articles say skull and then I've seen one say partial skull. So they just need to show something, you know what I mean? Cindy, she goes to bed at 7. That's why I've been doing these at 8. Because then it ensures me that she's asleep. But yeah, she likes to go to bed at 7 now, but she's down to 1 nap. But it's kind of a good trade because you can guarantee she'll be asleep by the time I go live at 8 o'clock. So please thumbs this video up. And then probably next Tuesday, we'll do another live stream. And in between, there may be other videos as well or premieres where I'll be in chat. And it's a video that I've edited. And also check my community page. And sometimes I'll post updates there. So thank you for being here. And we will talk soon. And hopefully, we will get more information on multiple cases. It's time to get some answers. So whether we end up getting answers or not, you guys can guarantee we'll be talking about getting answers or not here. So thanks for being here and we will talk soon.